Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of your Dairy Checkoff podcast. We will be talking with Steve Maddox, former board member and California dairy farmer, and Stephanie Masiello-Schutte, Director of Environmental Research, Dairy Management Incorporated, about why it's important for the dairy farmers to be involved in sustainability practices and how the Checkoff is helping with sustainability practices and measurement. They will also discuss the future of dairy sustainability and current research projects. Stephanie, tell us about your role at Dairy Management Incorporated.
Sure. Thanks, Adam. So here at DMI, as you mentioned, I'm a director of environmental research. I am part of the environmental research team. And what that means is I'm really doing work along with the rest of my colleagues that enable the advancement of science so that dairy farmers can really address those environmental challenges they're facing.
Great. Steve, tell us about your previous role as a board member.
I come about it naturally because my father was one of the few dairymen that actually had a college degree in the 50s. And so we always had a farm advisor or other people doing a lot of early dairy research. So it was a natural for us to follow up on it. As a board member, actually, I was part of our co-op board that helped set up California Dairy Cares, which is Dairy Conservation and Responsible Environmental Stewardship Group, to combat some state legislative moves that were anti-science, attacking the dairy industry on their water use and air emissions, trying to fulfill their perceived environmental activism. So when 13 years ago, when we had Walmart and Costco and a bunch of the other and Dean's Foods pushing for environmental fixes from the international perception that the dairy industry was causing anywhere from 10% to 40% of the greenhouse emissions, we knew we had to do something to protect our market, protect our social license to operate. And eventually that came up to around a little over 17% was the worldwide emissions accounted to cattle. Obviously, that's much lower in the United States, and that's something that from our efforts and our bringing true science in versus political opinion, we've been able to change that. But the original sustainability national meetings was at Walmart headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas, back about 13 years ago.
Tell me a little bit about your history with sustainability and the Checkoff. Why did the Checkoff get involved in sustainability? What was happening at the time?
Well, we were having pushback from a lot of our customers and end users, not customers as much as the purchasers of our dairy products, to combat the activism that was claiming falsely some of our impacts on the environment from dairy cattle and beef cattle and the like animal agriculture in general. And we knew that we had numbers that differed from what they were putting out in the press, but we didn't necessarily have new science or confirming science to back that up. You know, what you're fighting basically claims that people design in a closed room and say 5 times they claim as fact. Whereas part of agriculture, we have to come out with a scientifically peer-reviewed fact, and we can't differ from that, because if we have one misstatement, then we're hanging, that's hung around our necks. But so we had to come out with that and come together on it, and it's one of those either we hang together to fight this narrative, or else we hang separately. So
right, that's a great way to put it. What was the conversation around this topic when the board made initial decisions around sustainability?
Well, we had a certain amount of pushback because in the past we've had the buyers of our products want us to do things and without compensation. And the number one thing in sustainability is profitability. Not just surviving, but making a bottom line profit. And we had bad history in the past. through the biotech push in the late 80s and early 90s and the like. And so we had that unfunded mandate worry about it. And but really, once we convinced dairy farmers that the practices and the things that we were going to try to follow up on had a positive bottom line impact, then it was a little easier to sell. The other thing was that, you know, some of our dairy plants have got 200 or 300 inspections per year, and we want to be as little, you know, reduce the intrusiveness of those inspections. So we, again, having kind of a national aspect of it was very important. The other problem we have in the industry is that we have anywhere from organic farmers to large conventional farms, and we had to take a menu approach to the measurements and following up on what was good. And honestly, the strength of the industry is the small farmer.
Right. So beyond the farmer board, were other farmers involved in this decision? And if so, how were they involved?
You know, obviously the basic funding and overhead is covered by our National Promotion Board, and they carried the water on that. But we went to different states, different regions, land grant universities and the like, and with recommendations of people that were leading the field in different states and different regions in sustainability, in environmental practices, in animal care, and reached out to them and got them involved on a sustainability task force and the Sustainability Council.